And joining us now to discuss the gravity of Friday's meeting is Brad Bowman, Senior Director of the Center on Military and Political Power at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Brad, welcome. Good to see you. So President Trump, he's dismissed past conversations with Putin, basically calling them fruitless, meaningless. What do you think the U.S. can realistically expect on Friday from this meeting?
Thanks for the opportunity to join you, and thanks for the question. You know, my expectations are quite low because I don't believe Vladimir Putin has any incentive to negotiate in good faith. He hasn't up to this point. Why would he change now? You know, what he's essentially accomplished with this summit is a delay, if not an end to the promised consequences that Trump was going to impose. And so that's working beautifully for him. He looks like he's a peer of President Trump, that Russia's a peer of the United States. He looks legitimized. It helps reduces his international isolation. And it looks like we're on a path to basically having him do what he does best, Vladimir Putin. That is be duplicitous, be deceitful, and to flatter and to manipulate and try to make Ukraine, the invaded, into the villain when the real villain is the invader, and that's Vladimir Putin. So I'm concerned, and I'm worried about the direction this is heading.
So European leaders will host an emergency call with President Trump later this week, Brad. We know there's a lot of concern over Zelensky not being in this meeting on Friday. What are all these European allies hoping to achieve in this call?
You know, they released a joint statement, the Great Britain, France, Germany, others, and they said that, you know, they support active diplomacy, supporting Ukraine and pressuring the Russian Federation. That's all good, you know, but diplomacy that is not backed up by leverage, i.e. support for Ukraine and consequences for Russia, is going to be not effective or counterproductive even. And so if we keep threatening consequences for Russia, and then we don't impose them, it's a bit like the parent that keeps threatening to spank a child and doesn't, you know, does the whole 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the spank never comes. Well, what do we think the child, or in this case, Russia, is going to do? They're just going to continue with more of the same. And so I don't believe that we're going to see Putin ever negotiate in good faith unless we impose secondary sanctions, dramatically expand our security assistance, and unify with our European allies, including Ukraine. I'll end with this. Can you imagine two other countries negotiating over America, our lives, our borders, our security, our future, with us not being at the negotiating table? How furious would you be? I would be furious. If that's how we'd feel about it, why are we doing that to Ukraine?
You know, one proposal from the Trump administration includes Ukraine, Brad, actually ceding parts of its territory to Russia. Vladimir Zelensky said there's no interest in gifting, was the word he used, any of their land to Russia. What would this mean for Ukraine's future, and what about this? I mean, it doesn't seem like Zelensky is willing to budge at all here.
Yeah, and I don't think he's the problem, right? Let's review what is essentially on offer if the reporting there is accurate. Putin's basically saying, let me keep what I've stolen and I'll stop stealing more. That's basically what's on offer here, right? Let me take and keep the 15 to 20% of Ukraine that I've tried to steal, and I won't steal the rest. That's like a home invader coming in and saying, hey, give me your living room and I won't take the rest of your house. Well, if you give him the living room, what do you think he's going to want to do in the future? And what do we think China, Iran, and North Korea are going to say? Oh, America makes a good show of it, but sooner or later they just sell out to the aggressor. So maybe we too can accomplish our political objectives with naked aggression. So I'm real concerned about the consequences both in Europe and more broadly if some version of this proposal goes forward as reported.
Yeah, no doubt the world is watching to see what happens. Brad Bowman with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Always great to have you on the program. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.